from upstate New York, and I've been wearing hearing aids for about 3 years. Well, I had gone to some audiologists. I just really didn't think I was a candidate. I was kind of faking it and guessing what people were saying, and it wasn't working. I got the Lexie hearing aids. Well, it's been night and day. Conversations at the family dinner table, watching a movie that I don't have to put on the subtitles for anymore. I get emotional sometimes because if you're missing something and it comes back and you didn't think it was going to come back, that's a gift. And my kids are happier than I am that we were able to discover that again.
That is such a powerful story. If you or someone you love is suffering from mild to moderate hearing loss, you know how frustrating and isolating that can feel. This next hour, we are shopping the Lexie B2 rechargeable hearing aids powered by Bose. It's the lowest price that we have seen. If you purchased all of this separately, you're going to pay $1069, but today we're offering you a big deal. $799.98, 5 easy payments of $160. Shipping and handling is free. And if you are indeed a Q card holder, you're eligible for that 12 months special financing. What is so special about Lexie? It allows you to take control of your hearing. They're easy to self-fit. You can personalize them to your needs, and it can really allow you to start living your best life once again. I'm so thrilled because I'm joined by Brett Hamilton. He is our tech expert. He brings us incredible things here at the Q. Brett, I'm so happy to see you. Welcome.
Yeah, happy Friday. Good to be back. Good to be back
Friday.
with you, and good to have a whole hour for a product like this, because
Yes.
Chelsea, as you know, this is not something you can absorb in 8, 10, 15 minutes. It really is, as Jeff was talking about, something that you don't realize you were missing, meaning your hearing.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you have the ability, it's almost like some sort of bionic magic power to bring back, that mild to moderate hearing loss. And when we think about how far hearing aids have come over the last few years, I'm going to say about 3 years since the beginning of over-the-counter hearing aids, man, it's night and day. There used to be this stigma that went along with that big honking piece of equipment that you'd have to wear in each ear, and it screamed, "I'm older, I can't hear, feel sorry for me." And Chelsea, I think that kept a lot of people away. The vanity, not necessarily vanity, but just pride got in the way and said, you know what, I'll get through it. I'll be fine. I think I can hear. Whatever I'm missing is not all that important. Yeah, it is, because it could be your kids, it could be your grandkids, it could just be watching TV at night and not blaring it to the point where your husband or wife is like, you know what, I'll go watch in the other room.
Right.
Because I'll still be able to hear it in the other room.
Right, in the kitchen.
Yeah, so what we're talking about today is the first FDA-cleared direct-to-consumer hearing aids. These were developed for adults 18 years and older with perceived mild to moderate hearing impairment. Now, when you pair them with the revolutionary Lexie hearing app, you'll be able to fit and program and control your B2 hearing aids powered by Bose for clinically proven audiologist-quality customization. And here's the best part, gang. There's no doctor visit. There's no hearing test. There's no prescription. You're going to make these setting adjustments yourself in real time in the real world, out there at a restaurant or church or whatever it might be. They were developed by Bose scientists, audiologists, and engineers who took their decades of expertise to create the first FDA-cleared direct-to-consumer hearing aids. Now, keep in mind, these are meant to improve your hearing quality. They're not meant for streaming music or listening to movies. These are hearing aids. But the good news is that speech that once sounded a little mumbled, a little clearer, children's voices, softer voices, easier to understand. It'll truly change the way you think about hearing aids, and more importantly, change the way that you hear. And as you look at this graphic here, for those of you wondering, are they for me, or are they not for me? If you've got mild to moderate hearing loss versus severe or profound. Severe and profound means a trip to the doctor to figure out what's going on. But I think the best indicators here, Chelsea, is that if you're in a crowded room, somebody's talking, and you look around and everybody else can understand what that person is saying, and you're just politely nodding and giggling when you think there's a joke, that's a sign right there that there might be an issue. But also what we just mentioned, trouble understanding the TV. These are not just for the person that wears them, they're for everybody else in the house, so that they don't have to keep repeating themselves. And when we think about that, then it's not just for you.
Right.
It's for everybody else that's involved in your world.
Brett, you're exactly right. And that's what Jeff had said earlier. He said, my kids are almost happier than I am. And he was almost moved to tears because it allowed him to kind of participate in his family again. So I said earlier, this is the lowest price that we have seen. We're offering you a big deal that if you purchase all of this separately, and Brett, I was hoping that we could go through it together, you would pay $10.69. But today, that big deal price is $799.98. 5 easy payments of $160. Shipping and handling is free. And if you are indeed a Q card holder, you have 12 months special financing. That means you have 12 months to pay it off in full with absolutely no interest. What I think is so remarkable today is you're getting so much for that big deal price. So talk to me, you're getting those two B2 hearing aids. You're getting the rechargeable batteries, the two medium-sized RIC cables, the open and closed domes. Oh yeah.
I was going to say the RIC cables are just the cables that come out of the hearing aids. I don't want people to think there's tons and tons of cabling.
Oh, good.
It's really just that rechargeable cable up front there, because they are going to charge just like your cell phone at night. Then you get the domes and you get the instruction manual. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm happy you did, because I wanted to do it together. That's what I think is so great, and we're going to talk a lot about how easy it is to customize them to find that perfect fit. So you're getting all those tools along with the care kit as well. And the care kit is usually priced at $70, but that's all part of that big deal. Brett, this is truly remarkable because people love it. There's over 185 five-star reviews, and Time Magazine called Lexie the most influential company of 2023. So there's a reason people love this hearing aid.
Yeah, and I think that as a consumer, you have to be careful too, because anytime new technology comes out, there are smaller companies that just kind of jump on the bandwagon and claim to be able to do whatever it is they think that the other guys are doing, and you're not going to find a better brand than Bose. And when you team them up with Lexie, who is just a hearing company, a hearing aid company, they don't make blenders, they don't make cars or tires or whatever it might be. So you put them together for that super group, and you get what you're about to see in this video. The tech behind all of this is truly astounding. I mean, when you think about how small of a footprint we have here, you have two rechargeable hearing aids, which means that there is no cost to use these after you get them. They can be connected directly to your phone, not only for the app, but for a phone call. So you don't even have to hold your phone up to the hearing aid. You can adjust the volume and the treble and the bass for the call itself, which most people can't do if they're not using these. And then you look at the domes. We'll talk about these throughout the hour. Small, medium, large, and both an open and closed. There is a reason for that. I will get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
Multiple days out of each charge. What I recommend is when you go to bed at night, you plug in your phone, plug in your hearing aids, right? You're not sleeping in them.
Right.
Microphones built in, the processor to kind of get rid of the noise around you. And all of that tech comes down to this experience right here. You go into a crowded restaurant, you don't want to hear the table behind you or the server on the other side, or the kitchen clanking dishes and stuff. You just want to hear what's happening at the conversation in front of you. And again, somebody not wearing Lexie Bose hearing aids can't do that, but you can. But this is the magic behind it all. This app, and is incredibly simple to use, allows you to manipulate your experience in real time. You know, when we think about how we're tethered to these devices, right? Even at a restaurant or whatever it might be, you pull it out and you're like, nobody knows you're messing with your hearing aids. They think you're looking at a text message or you're looking at the weather or whatever it might be. So in a few minutes, I'm going to show you the app. But before we get to the app, I like to kind of show you the magic trick, then pull back the curtain and show you how we did the magic trick.
Perfect.
What you're about to see in this little simulation video is 3 very common scenarios. And these scenarios are the real world, which is how you might be hearing the world right now. I can't, everybody's different. And then what happens when it's affected by the Lexie and Bose B2 hearing aids, simply by opening up the app and hitting open or starting these things up. So check this out.
At the end of their long journey, our colony of penguin chicks have reached the ocean. They peer over the edge, waiting for the right moment, anticipating the dangers that await. Until finally, one of them jumps.
Hey, honey, do you hear that?
It sounds like a pair of cardinals.
Where are they? I hear them, but I don't see them.
Oh, I think they're coming.
Looking for our beer specials?
So tonight, in addition to our usual lineup of IPAs, we've got some great...
There's a pale ale from one of our
yours. It's very crisp and citrusy, if that's what you're into.
Wow. Brett,
Pretty remarkable.
That
right?
was remarkable. To hear that difference, to feel that instant clarity was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people think it's either A or B. It's on or it's off, and it's not. Again, like other hearing aids that are out there, over-the-counter hearing aids or competitors that just give you one option or the other option, which is very similar to what you might experience if you get the traditional hearing aids from an audiologist. You know, you think about it, you go into the room and they do the hearing test. It's like, beep, boop, boop. You're listening to all the beeps. Can I hear it? Can I not hear it? And everything sounds good when you walk out of there. But the problem is then you go into the real world and you go into that noisy restaurant, which is, you know, the ambient room noise can give you a headache, whether you can hear or you can't hear. Or you're watching TV or whatever, and you're like, I wish I could fine tune the experience. I wish I could. Well, guess what? You can.
Yeah.
So take a peek at the iPad here. This is how we did the magic trick that you just experienced, because it's not on off. It's by, you know, little micro movements, so to speak, just like a car radio. You get in the car, you turn the volume up to get it to a comfortable level. That's what you're going to do with this. And I recommend sitting in front of the TV, if nothing else. Put the TV on at a volume that's considered normal, not cranked up because I can't hear as well as I used to normal. And then use this as a way to get the volume in your head and in your ears where you want it. So once you find a comfortable volume, now we're going to go and modify the sound. And I always use the example of if the world sounds really muddy and you want to clean it up, it's trouble. Just like it would be on a car stereo.
Right.
But if it's too much of that high end and it's starting to give you a headache, well, then you bring it down here, you add some bass, you add some bottom end. Everybody's setting will be different. There's no right or wrong, and that's what's so cool about this. Now, if it just did that, you're probably ahead of the game versus the old-time hearing aid, so to speak. But it gets a lot cooler. Many people don't realize that we don't hear as well necessarily in one ear as we do the other. My right ear is not as strong. I don't know why, but guess what? All I have to do is go like this, and I just put a little bit more volume in the right to balance out with the left, and all of a sudden, for the first time in God knows how many years, the hearing is balanced in my head, which makes your life a little bit better as well. Now, if it just did that, we're cool.
Yes.
Now we're going to get into some bionic stuff, which we saw in the video a few seconds ago. There are microphones inside here, obviously, because they're picking up the sound, they're processing it, they're cleaning it up, they're making it sound better. But you can affect the directionality of what your hearing aids and in turn what you hear. In everywhere mode, it's all around you, just like it would be in the real world. Whatever's out there, you're exposed to, you hear it. But Chelsea and I are at the restaurant, and I just want to listen to her. I just want to hear what she's saying. Now, it's not going to mute everything behind you or around you, but it will help to suppress it so that it's easier to understand the person that's sitting at the table with you. One final thing, and this makes your life easier down the road, presets. Once you get the restaurant the way you want it, the TV viewing, the sermon in church, whatever it might be, you can build and save those settings just like I did for dog walk. So when you go on dog walk, maybe you need a little bit more volume, a little bit more high end so you don't step out in oncoming traffic or if somebody's coming up behind you. They give you a couple presets. They give you 4 presets to kind of play around with, but you can make as many as you want, well, up to 10, I guess, inside there. And then you don't have to go back to this every time. When you put your hearing aids on, you just open up the app and go, well, I want it to be this one. And it will automatically change the volume and the treble and the bass to whatever that situation is. And in this case, it's noisy outdoor. So I don't think the experience could be any easier.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people that say, well, you make it look so easy on TV. Is it really going to be like that when I get it home? That was it. There was no smoke and mirrors. There's no magic tricks. Like my finger, like I'm playing a video game on a phone. And by the way, I was using an iPad because it's just a bigger screen. It's easier to show on TV.
Right.
Typically, as I showed you before, you're going to use your phone. The app is free to download. It'll work on Apple or Android. It'll work on an Apple or Android tablet as well, like an iPad. And one final thing before I forget, you need the app to make the adjustments.
Okay.
You can't take these out of the case, put them in your ears, and expect a miracle.
Gotcha.
It's very, very important that you download the free app. One other thing about that, because I always forget to mention this, the app only works when the hearing aids are on, meaning you have to take them out of the case. There's a little rocker switch, a little volume button. There is one actual button on them. Rock them back and forth to wake them up. And when you wake them up, you'll see the app come to life. And then you can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to take the app with you. You don't have to take the tablet or the phone with you. Once you get them the way you want, you go out to the real world, fine. But you won't be able to change anything unless you have access to a smart device.
I love that you can personalize it no matter where you are. They make it so easy. You know, Brett, I talk about my grandma all the time because I grew up watching QVC with my grandma Janet, and she wore hearing aids and she hated them. They were